Suppose you and your friend decide to have a cultural activity club in your institution. You want to form some kind of government so that your cultural activity club can smoothly function. So you and your friend decide that you all will participate in the decisions related to your cultural activity club. You decide that all the decisions regarding financial matter and the activities to be kept in the cultural activity club, what will be the fees of the students who will join the club, or what will be the rules of your cultural activities club. All these things you all will decide, all together you will decide. So you want to form democracy. But what is democracy? And in today's unit, which is the topic of the unit is democratic principles of education, we will discuss about democracy, its meaning, its concept, its scope, and also you will be able to explain the types of democracy. You will be able to state the relationship between democracy and education. Before starting this video lesson, let me introduce myself. I am Dr. Neel Kamal Sharan, Faculty, School of Education, IGNOU, and today we will discuss about democratic principles of education. So first of all, we will start with the meaning of democracy. Etymologically, the term democracy consists of two Greek words. First one is demos, which means the people, and kratos, meaning power. So literally the word democracy is power of the people. According to Aristotle, democracy is a government by many, and the Greek word corresponding to democracy suggested a system in which the people performed the ruling. Greek democracy was at its best in the ancient Athens, and democracy developed in the ancient Greece, where the males in the ancient Greece, males used to participate in all the decisions. Females, they doesn't participate at that time. So males used to participate in all the decisions related to their state. During the period between 2000 to 1500 BC in India, Aryans also believed in and nurtured a democratic pattern of existence. The panchayats of Ganpats or clans and samitis were the primitive democratic institutions where authority was actually vested in the people. It was neither centralized nor hereditary, but was the government by participation. At that time, there was a government by participation, and Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that is brotherhood of man, was the foundation of Aryan democracy. According to the modern concept of democracy, it implies that ruling power rests with the people without distinction of caste, creed, color or sex. Modern concept of democracy says that the ruling power rests with the people without any type of discrimination, either it is on the basis of caste or their color or sex. And most of the modern states, including India also, which emerged out of the colonial rule in the second half of the 20th century, they all adopted democracy as the guiding principle of political ideology. Let us see few definitions of democracy. According to Mueller, in the year 2009, democracy is a political system in which a non-trivial portion of a community participates in a process that determines what the government does, Non-trivial portion of community means the significant portion, an important portion of the community. They participate in the process which determines what the government does. And the earlier definitions of democracy, like in the definition given by Aristotle, that democracy is a government by many, it focused upon the numerical criterion. The numerical defined that it is a government by many, but the modern writers, in place of this employing numerical criterion, they emphasize on the principle of democracy, where persons who are fit to perform the duties of citizens should have a share in the direction of the state. The person who are fit to perform the duties, they should share in the direction of the state. And Bryce, in the modern democracies, in his book Modern Democracies, he states that democracy is a form of government in which will of the majority of qualified persons rule. Will of the majority of qualified persons rule. In consensus that majority of qualified means they are not, Bryce is not talking about minorities. So minorities also have their will. But if democracy can really claim to be a government of the people, by the people and for the people, their will must remain supreme on all questions regarding policy and socio-economic directions of the government. Now what does this mean? If democracy really claims to be a government of the people, by the people and for the people, then the will of the people remains the supreme. If their will regarding the policy and socio-economic directions of the government will be supreme. Thus, democracy means the majority of the people. Democracy allows that every qualified citizen should express their opinion on the affairs of the state. Also, there are certain special features, characteristics of democracy, that people should have political and economic freedom. They have freedom to speech, freedom to gather, voting rights, they have human rights, they have legal equality, transparency. These all are the features of democracy, and there are two essential features of democracy. They are freedom and equality. People should have freedom, and freedom to choose their the person who will represent them. They have freedom to speech, they have freedom to gather, they have freedom to adopt any kind of or any type of religion, they have freedom to reside in any place. So all these are the features of democracy. Let us see the scope of democracy. In modern times, democracy has acquired a much wider connotation. It is not only used for a specific form of political control, but more generally to denote a certain way of life. So ideally, the democratic way of life is characterized by respect for the dignity of the individual, encouragement of the uniqueness in human beings rather than the imposition of a set pattern, cooperation, free exchange and development of progressive ideas, and tolerance of intellectual differences. These are the democratic ways of life. Next topic is types of democracy. So before starting this topic, I would like to ask you certain question. What if you vote to make properties law or marriage law? What if everyone get to vote on the punishment of a murder accused? What if everyone gets chance to vote on the innocence or fault of a suspect? And what if each one of us get a chance to vote for each and every single laws which comes up? If all this takes place, then yes, We are living in a state of direct democracy. On the basis of structure and functions, democracy can be classified as direct democracy and indirect democracy. Imagine that you are a class teacher of a class and you ask your students to vote on where to go on a school picnic out of the several options possible. So the students select the place where they want to go for a picnic out of the several possible options given to them. This is an example of direct democracy from your classroom. Another example could be from the last example which I have given, that you want to establish a cultural activity club. In that club, suppose you and your friend, suppose there are 5 members in the group, then all 5 of you takes all the decision related to your club. You vote on each and every rule which is to be followed for your cultural activity club or related to any kind of financial decisions. So this is an example of direct democracy where all of you, all the peoples, all the members of the group participate in all the decisions related to the group or related to the club. So direct democracy refers to a system where all the people take part in the decision making process. It is also known as pure democracy because it gives importance to individuals' role in the decision making process, and all the policies are decided by the people. In our example also, all the policies and rules regarding the cultural activity club are decided by all the members of the group. This direct democracy is applicable for a small size group. Here we have only 5 members. Then it is possible that all 5 members, they sit together and vote and take a particular decision related to the club. Here members choose what is good or bad for them. They have all the power. They vote directly on the decisions without any type of any representative. They don't select any representative. Whatever they want, good for their club or bad for their club, they directly represent it. It is quick process of decision making because decisions are taken through direct voting. Here the governing body is the whole community. In our case also, the whole members of the cultural activity club, they are the governing body who takes all the decision related to the club. And it is being practiced in Switzerland. In Switzerland, you will see that direct democracy is being practiced, where all the members takes all the decision related to their country. Another type of democracy is indirect democracy. Now remember your university election, what you did in your university election. In university, there are some student union, and what the students of the university does, they select or they vote to choose their president, their secretary, who will represent them. Instead of directly participating in the rules or laws related to the university students, the students, they select their representative who will speak to the authorities. Instead of all the students, this representative, this president or secretary, they will speak their thoughts to the authorities. So this is an example of indirect democracy where the people indirectly participate in the laws and policies. The people vote their representative who can represent them on their behalf. In the last example also, suppose your cultural activity club have 5 members. But what if your club grows, you advertise your cultural activity club on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and you allow all the participants who interested candidate who want to join your cultural activity club, you make them join. So your cultural activity club grows, and suppose it has 200 members. Is it possible that 200 members sit together and decide the rules related to cultural activity club, or they sit together and decide on the financial matters related to your cultural activity club? No, it is not possible. So what you will do, you will decide to have a representative who will speak on their behalf, on the behalf of the members, all 200 members, and these few members who are the representatives of your club, they will decide the laws and policies related to your club. This elected representative take decisions on the policies, and they only have the opportunity to take part in decision making. These representatives whom you have elected, they will have the opportunity to take part in the decision making process. And the governing body are the representatives of the winning party who form the government. This winning party, the representative of the winning party who forms the government, these representatives are the governing body here in direct democracy. Here the whole community, whole citizen is not the governing body. Here the representatives of the winning party is the governing body, and it is practiced in a larger community. As I said in our example also, when the members of the club increases, we adopt indirect democracy. We elect the representative who takes decisions on the behalf of all the members of the club. This indirect democracy is also known as representative democracy. Nowadays, indirect democracy is most popular as prevailing in all democratic countries. The democracy of India is one of the example where we elect member of parliaments and also state assemblies who represent us and take decisions on our part. In India also we practice indirect democracy. Some examples of indirect democracies are the countries like India, United States, Brazil, Ghana, Canada, Sweden. All these countries, they practice indirect democracy. Now, according to its nature and emphasis, democracy can be of 4 types. First one is ethical democracy, other one is political democracy, next is social democracy, and another is economic democracy. Now, ethical democracy, it rests on the faith that every individual, howsoever humbly placed in life, is entitled to full respect for his dignity and worth as an individual. Means ethical democracy says that individuality should be respected. And when democracy gives emphasis on formation and functioning of government, deals with suffrage, election, voting power, sharing in government and so on, it is termed as political democracy. And when democracy seeks to break down the caste and class distinctions and implies equality of opportunity, it becomes democracy. If we provide equality of opportunity irrespective of class and caste distinctions, then the democracy becomes social democracy. And when the democracy is evidenced in the economic life and activities of the people, satisfying their basic needs of food, shelter and clothing, and assuring them all the minimum standard of good living, it becomes economic democracy. When the basic needs of the citizens like food, shelter and clothing and good living is ensured, then the democracy becomes economic democracy. In a country like India, democratic values are reflected in all walks of life and in all aspects of society. you will see that in all walks of our life, democratic values are reflected in the society. Next is we will see the relationship between democracy and education. Democracy has a very close relationship with education. On one hand, democracy ensures access to education for everyone, and on the other hand, what education does? Education works as a key factor in proper functioning and sustaining democracy. One of the fundamental principles and merit of democracy is that it guarantees equality. The fundamental principles, there are two fundamental principles of democracy. One is equality and another is freedom. So, democracy guarantees equality, so it treats all the citizens equal and provides education to all as a right. What do this democracy does? It provides an opportunity to all the citizens so that they can get education. The education is the right in our country. Education to all is a right. So, all the citizens, they get an equal opportunity to be educated. And the principles of democracy like liberty, equality, fraternity, dignity of the individual, cooperation, sharing responsibility, etc. are the dimensions which deeply influence education. These are the dimensions which deeply influence education. On the other hand, education at various stages and dimensions intrinsically motivates a democratic way of life. Democratic values or principles are applied to education to make it more effective, meaningful, relevant and useful. Democratic principles like freedom, equality, all these principles we apply in our education also, in our classroom also we apply. Like we provide all the students an equal opportunity to participate, their individuality is respected in a classroom. Even we modify our method of teaching according to the level of our learner, the pace of our learner. The curriculum provides democratic space to the children. It has all the things, it has images, it has activities, it has theory, so that the curriculum should tackle all types of learner. So, education, democratic values makes education effective, meaningful, relevant and useful. And without education, democracy cannot be a success, as individuals of a civilized society are to know the rights and duties of citizens if they are to function on a democratic pattern in their daily life. Democracy, in order to be a reality, a way of life and a living style, has to be introduced from the very beginning of education and its values practiced in schools and colleges. If you want to have democracy in a real sense, then it should be practiced from the very beginning, that is from the school days. Man is a social animal and cannot exist in isolation. Democracy ensures the smooth functioning of all activities of the social and personal life of a man. Education is an important and essential activity in the life of a man, and thus it cannot keep itself aloof from democracy. Rather, education has to be a potent instrument of social development and progress, which are important facets of democracy. Thus, democracy and education have a close interrelationship influencing each other in various ways. In today's video lesson, we have studied about what is democracy. Democracy, in the earlier definition of democracy, says that democracy is a government by many. But the modern definition of democracy does not focus on this numerical criterion. It says that it is the government by majority. We have also studied in this video lesson the two important types of democracy. First one is direct democracy and another one is indirect democracy. In direct democracy, all the citizens take part directly in the decision making process, whereas in indirect democracy, the citizens of the country, they indirectly participate in the decision making process. They elect a representative who participates in the decision making process on their behalf. We have also studied that there is a close relationship between democracy and education. Democracy makes the education meaningful, effective and relevant. There are some assessment questions for you. First question is define the term democracy. Second is give an example of indirect democracy from your daily life. And third question is why it is said that India is a democratic country. That's all in today's video lesson. In the next video lesson, we will discuss about the principles of democracy. Thank you.